we're going to cover Terra Luna today and have a look at the parabolic price action that we've seen in the past week or two, and really just do a little bit of an update since we last covered it back in December the 23rd. Now, if you followed the video and you were around when I did that Terra Luna video back on December the 23rd, I think that you'll be pretty happy with the outcome that we spoke about, because we were speaking about not going long at $100 and being very patient, and this was likely a profit-taking zone for you, especially if you're a long-term Luna holder. And I said to you as well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, sell all of your bags, but, we're definitely reaching a point in time where we were pretty overextended. And I think you will agree as well that we, nailed pretty much, the bottom and that range of price where to buy into really, really well. Because if you look at this green zone that I've highlighted at about $50, this was the zone that I said you're looking for buy entries, because this is likely going to provide the strongest support. You can see all of these little areas of price action that I've circled in yellow here at about $55, $50, where we essentially have seen low volume price action in this area, which we typically speak about as being, zones where we can get big bounces from if we don't slice straight through. And obviously it's the area that we flipped from resistance as support in the past, back in December, and that's exactly what we've done now and held it and seen a really nice bounce. I'm going to link the video above me if I can remember. But, try to follow people who have a history of being right. And, I think a lot of our altcoin picks that we've made and, the price action staying on the right side of the market for most of them, I would say, have been really, really good. Because, I try to get you to not FOMO. I don't want you to FOMO in here at the top. Even here, right? This is not the time to be buying after massive green candles. You now have to wait for a retracement, or you just have to wait for the next opportunity. I told you, the opportunity that is going to be present to you, the most likely scenario to give you a good buying opportunity is going to be at about $50 there or thereabouts. And we also spoke about how this is going to be a zone. Okay, it's not an exact number like $50, right? It's a range, and you can just ladder in bids. And we always talk about on this channel adding in areas of value, okay, and not FOMOing into pump. With that said, if you like the video and you like this sort of content, please go ahead and drop me a like down below. That really helps me out. So if you haven't already, go down the bottom, hit me a little like, helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And obviously these videos take me a while, so like the video if you haven't already. Now, I'm going to share with you some price targets, okay, for Luna that I see us getting to. Whether we get there at this moment in time or a little bit later, I'm not exactly sure. Anyone who tells you that they know when of the price is going to happen is talking absolutely shit and out of their arse. So you just want to have these price targets and just make sure that you act upon them, okay, when they happen. Okay, so just going back to this quick price action over here at $50 when we saw the big drop from $100 to $50, okay, how many of you actually pulled the trigger? Okay, even if you set alerts and you've put all these lines on a chart, how many of you have actually acted, okay, on that and bought? I bet probably not a lot of you. Okay, you need to learn how to pull the trigger, take action, and then live and die by your decisions. That's how you make money. Okay, you have to mark out the key levels and then you have to buy them. Okay, so we're uptrending over here, and you can see that over the long term we're creating higher highs, higher lows, and really market structure for Luna looks really, really good. Okay, so definitely a coin where you always want to be adding into the uptrend. Okay, you don't necessarily want to be shorting stuff and then just taking areas of profit and just let it ride. Cryptocurrency for me is pretty much the best buy and hold asset that you can have, and then just when you get offered that opportunity to sell at like 5, 10, 20 times your money, if you're that lucky, take it. Okay, enough rambling about when to take profits and all that kind of stuff. Let's have a look at the short to near term price action. Nothing much more to say here apart from Luna is above pretty much every key moving average that you want it to. So, the direction is going to be up, okay? Or should I say the bias is going to be up. I would imagine after this 100% move, very typical to see some sort of 20, 30, 40% correction. But if Bitcoin remains healthy and doesn't do some sort of super dump down below 30K, I think Luna has some room to move to the upside here, okay? I'm going to give you some scenarios of what I'm anticipating and what I'm looking at for the moment for Luna. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing this area as a potential area to go long if you want to add to this uptrend. You can see that we've had price action here before, and we've managed to flip this as support. Resistance into support, blasted straight through it. So if we come down to this level at about $76, $70 and just attack this price action over here that we got to, just a couple of days ago, look for that as a potential area to go long, to join this uptrend. I'm not sure that we get down all the way over here and retest this trend line and maybe retest this bullish order block over here at about $40 to $60. I think that's less likely. I think probably the better chance is to maybe look for some consolidation at around $77. Now, what that might look like for the moment is maybe we chop around at this level, but we want to come down, as you can see here, okay, tag this price action over here, and it would be really healthy if we can create some sort of, higher low and just continue the uptrend, eventually basically take out this all-time high at about $100 to about $105. But I think that, this would probably be a little bit more of an aggressive situation to get into Luna, okay? But, the level down below that, if you're looking for longs, like I said, is probably somewhere in and along this trend line over here, which coincides with this bullish order block at about $57. So if you do get the opportunity to go down here and go long at about $58, I don't think that is the worst situation to take a long on Luna for, okay? Now, Luna's an interesting coin as well because it doesn't really care what is actually going on with Bitcoin, and it tends to have a big life of its own. And even when Bitcoin was in a downtrend, Luna was going on an absolute tear. So it can work very independently from Bitcoin, but we do want to see Bitcoin fairly healthy for would be better for Luna to continue its uptrend. But in the event that we lose this area and we lose this 50 area, okay, and Bitcoin does go lower, because the only thing that I would say is that I'm still not entirely sure that 33K is the low for Bitcoin, as probably many of you know. So if we do fall below $50 in the event, okay, I would be looking, of course, at an ultimate low at somewhere at about $27, $25, basically attacking this massive price action order block over here, which was basically is likely going to provide massive support. I would be shocked if we don't get a bounce at this level, but we don't want to be really talking about those levels of $25 when we're at $87. But I just do want to make you aware of that. That would be my next level, so I wouldn't be adding in like about $30 or anything like that. If we break these lows, I do think we'll be going much lower, but we're not there yet, so we can stay fairly optimistic for Luna. Now, if you're holding Luna, I want to give you some price targets to the upside that you can aim for maybe in the short to medium term, okay, and maybe some ultimate targets as well. So for some of the ultimate targets, what I would personally be looking at, right, is I would be looking at like a $400 Luna, but I do think that there's a lot of Fibonacci projections that we can look at, which somewhere line up at about $140 to about $200. So I'm going to mark those out for you now. If we take an extension of the main wave from May last year up to the $100 top, okay, and we are to go from new all-time highs from here, then you can see that we're getting a one-to-one extension at about $145, and you can see we're getting a 1.618 move extension of that move at about $220. So these are two areas that I would mark out, okay, as a little bit of a range as to where Luna might go if we break new all-time highs in the short to near term and we start to go on some sort of big major parabolic move. Interestingly, if we take the extension from the same major wave that took us from $3 to $100, the 1.618 of that leads us to about somewhere in the middle of those two price targets at about $175. So those would be like some sort of intermediate price, ranges that I'd be looking out for, even if it's not the absolute top. But, I'd be looking always at the 4.236 as some sort of mania top. If, we do get some kind of market cycle peak this year, then, look for over here, $470, okay? The 4.236 is a typical one where, you get these major parabolic moves to the top, and I can show you this on so many different charts, even on Luna. If I just reverse this and I take, sorry, an extension of the last major wave, which took us, from a very, very small 30 cent to the $25, you can see that that extension took us exactly to 4.236. So if we were to get something similar, that would take us to about, $430, $400 there or thereabouts. So again, mark out this area as a potential area for, ultimate profit taking for Lunas. Also, if we take the extension of this major wave, that also puts us at about, $440. So those are the two areas that I'd be looking out for. Probably an earlier profit taking zone at about 140 to about $210. I think that is definitely possible and on the cards, especially if we break new highs soon and see that momentum to the upside. Those were areas that I'd be looking out for, and maybe some longer term targets. Who knows when we get there? Maybe this year, maybe in a year or two, who knows? But somewhere in and around that $400 mark. Taking a quick look at Luna, BTC, you can see as well, like perfectly, where did we say, okay, that the areas of value are going to be? Look for the major areas. You can see here where we got to that, 11,000 sats, and we perfectly tagged this zone a few times and then bounced from it as support. And now we've actually created a new high on the Luna Bitcoin chart at about 20,000. So let's just see where this week finishes. And if this week finishes and closes above 20,000, which we haven't really been able to close above, then, we can potentially look for some continuation to the upside. So I want you to keep an eye on this level, okay? But the higher time frame open and closes are going to give you, more confidence in where the direction of the market is going. So still, 5 days to go at the end of this week. But, looking good. This month we closed pretty strong as well. And we basically finished at new highs. You can see that. That was really nice. Let's clean that up for you a little bit. So we got a new monthly high close. So definitely a possibility for Luna to move higher from here, which is why I'm kind of making you aware of some of these upside targets, because Luna can break out pretty fast and pretty quickly to the upside. So I hope you got some value from this video and it gave you just a little bit more perspective on, where the areas of value are to buy into Luna should we get some sort of pullback to be joining an uptrend like this. And obviously, if you want to, if you do get offered those opportunities at those key take profit zones, take them. The way that I would do these sort of things personally is, take 10, 20, 30% off the table, whatever you want over here, because there's no guarantees that we reach any of these targets. We can just capitulate from this moment and go down to $26. I'm not saying that's the most likely, but definitely a possibility. So yeah, just something to look out for and a way to do it. The way that I do it, I'd probably take about half of my profits off the table over here for sure, and then I just let the rest ride out and just ladder out my sells the higher we go up. And if we get to 400, I'd just be like all out. I'd be like completely job done. You're probably not going to get a better trade than that. So that's how I'd be playing it. Haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hope you got some value from this, and I will catch you in the next one.